Good morning. So for today we have a video, a little bit of yoga for stress headaches. So these are headaches that are caused from potentially stress in the or tension in the body, tension along the spine. I thought for this particular um, problem that we're working with, that we will do a little bit of restorative yoga. So there's a few poses here that are kind of go-to poses that will be nice to have in your repertoire for headaches during stress. So because it's restorative, we're going to have quite a few props. So if you look over here, I have two bolsters. I also have two blankets, and I have a chair. So the bolsters will be one on top of the other, and it's one on top of the other so that we can get some height. And then, so the pose that we're going into is a supported Virasana. Virasana is also called hero's pose, and it has this position of the legs where the knees are bent and the feet are back behind. But because we're going to practice this and we're going to stay for maybe 5 or so minutes, we want to really support the body. So that's why we have the blankets here. So I'm going to take one of the blankets and I'll have it kind of in this shape. And I'm going to do what's called a tri-fold. So you fold it once over, or 3 times over itself to make a little bit of an elevation. So that's kind of what we're looking for. And that goes towards the front of the mat. The front of the bolsters. And then the other blanket I have here, I'll also make into that kind of shape. And then I'm going to roll this blanket. So I'm just going to roll it up. And then we will take the blanket and take it behind us and place it at the ankles, so right over the ankles, so that when you come back and your hips come back, you sit onto the blanket and there's like a little bit of support there. And then we'll take the bolsters and kind of put them a little bit between the legs, and that will be kind of up to you. We want the front of the body supported by the bolster, and then the forehead goes onto the blanket. And then the arms can relax down by the sides. And as with all restorative poses, when you come in, you're going to want to adjust things to make them feel really comfortable. So for me, this blanket position is a little bit high, and I just know that because it's making my head lift a little bit too high, which is putting a little bit of pressure in my neck, which I don't want. So instead of the tri-fold, I'm going to go for folding it right over, right? Because I want pressure on my forehead, but I also don't want my head to be pushed back if the blanket's too high. And you want to feel that your body is supported. So we want to feel as if the front body is supported. And that we can give our weight to the props below. Just sensing heart on the props and just the support of the heart on the prop. Maybe give a few good breaths, just inviting some deeper breath in here. We'll bring our hands under our shoulders and press ourselves up. And just go ahead and come right forward to come off of the legs. And we'll set the blankets to the side. And we can set the bolsters to the sides as well. So we'll come seated. I like to use the bolsters for the next pose. You may or may not like them, but we'll go ahead and take the chair. So we're going to place the chair on the mat in front of us. And we're going to take the blanket, one of the blankets, you might like both, you have to see, back into kind of its rectangle or square shape. And then it just gets placed on top of the seat. And we want to make sure that it has this rounding over the front. That's most important. And hopefully it makes it all the way to the back. That'll just be comfy for your hands. And then, so this is the supported Janu Shirshasana. So this is quite a traditional pose. I think I'm going to also add in the second blanket. This was kind of an afterthought, but I think it'll be really nice. So the second blanket, if we can make it into just a one fold over so it has a little bit of height. And we'll take that and we'll sit on that. I think that's going to be an added bonus here. And then we'll take the right knee and bend the right knee and put the sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh. So we have this external rotation in this thigh, which for some of us feels just totally safe and okay. For some of us, it'll put a little pressure in the knee. If you feel at all that there's any pressure in the knee, no problem, just put the bolster right under there. And then we're simply just going to fold forward from here. So the hands go on the chair and you can adjust where the chair is. Hopefully the chair is tall enough to get, again, your forehead to be able to rest on the chair. If the forehead is, if it's too far, you can make fists with the hands and have it that way. I find this a little less restful, but still you can do quite a nice pose here. You just have to kind of find your way to have this balanced. But if it does work to rest the arms on the seat, that's kind of preferable. And bringing the head down onto the chair, and hopefully the blanket is soft enough to where it feels comfortable on the forehead. And so you can see my favorite way to practice restorative is coming into a pose and just going to the most simple, right? So quiet time. Quiet time for us. And this quiet time allows us to can enter into this deep space. And there's something so therapeutic and wise about giving something time and giving something space. It could almost be our mantra. Give it time, give it space. It's a very generous thing to do. Let's go ahead and use our hands. We'll sit back upright, coming slow. And then we'll move over to the other side. So you can use your hands for help to lift the knee, slide it under, and then lift the other knee. And if you have your bolster on, the other bolster on the other side, you can simply just use that. Sometimes we like the bolster on one side, but not necessarily on the other. So, right, make it your own. And then find your way forward in some way. So it could be supported on the hands a little higher, could be all the way upright, right, with the head bowed forward. Right, that's sometimes best for us. If it feels okay to come forward even more, right, you could even slide the chair away, right, so you could come in a little deeper. And deeper is not always better. What's best is to honor the signals of the body. And if we honor the signals of the body, that's really where we're welcomed into the present moment. Right? That's really where we're welcomed into the wholeness of being as we are who we are. Take a little deeper breath. And use the hands on the chair. Keep the eyes closed. Sit upright if you're not there already. And then we'll take the blanket. We'll take the blanket off the chair. We'll save that, but we'll place the chair to the side. So we'll just move it out of our way. And then we're going to move into Shavasana. We'll have a supported Shavasana. I'll put on a timer for us so that we have, we don't just totally get lost. The way that I like to do Shavasana in this particular practice is with a blanket roll and a blanket or some kind of eye covering. So I have an eye pillow here. If you have an eye pillow, you might grab your eye pillow. You might also, if you have sandbags, you might grab your sandbags. I don't feel like sandbags today, so I'm not going to grab mine, but they would be probably nice on like kind of the pelvic area. So for most importantly is going to be the roll underneath our neck. And getting this roll just right can be a little bit of a skill in and of itself, but we play with it till we practice enough to where we really find that this can be something that's really supportive, particularly for stress headaches. So for me, the roll is about that big. I don't know if that gives you away, but I leave a little bit of a tail of the blanket at the edge because I find that if I roll it all the way up, it's too big and it doesn't quite do the same thing, right? And so that's there. I'll move that out of the way so you can see. And then the other blanket I'm going to take and I'm going to place it just behind me so that if I choose to make a little tent over my head, it's usually easier if somebody else is there to help you. But sometimes you can kind of fuss with it and make it nice for yourself. So when you lie down, choose how you like your bolster. I like my bolster to kind of prop up my knees a little bit. And then when I lay back, I'm just going to kind of look for the blanket to go under the neck and cradle the whole arc of my cervical spine, of my neck, right? So I can feel my shoulders are on the ground. And I made the roll a little bit too thick, so I'm going to come out and make it just right. Yeah. So I'm going to undo it just a little bit because what I'm looking for is also my head to be supported as well. So if your head is not supported, I don't think your neck will want to release and relax as much as possibly could be. But if the back of the head also feels something, it allows the neck to relax, and that's really what we're looking for. So the shoulders, we want to feel the shoulders near or on the ground, some kind of sense of the ground, and we want the back of the head to at least feel something, and then the whole cervical spine to be supported. And then you'll have your eye pillow, which you can use, and sometimes the whole eye pillow directly on the eyes can be really heavy for the eyes. And so sometimes what's nice is to put it on the forehead and it just kind of barely covers the eyes. I'm going to turn on a timer for us so that we'll have, I won't leave us here forever so we get lost, right? We'll do, let's see. Do 8 minutes. You can Just keep kind of finding your way till you make it just right. So it could be eye pillow on the forehead, kind of a little bit over the eyes, and then the blanket can even kind of come over on top of the head, and make a little tent. The arms resting out to the sides can add a really nice aspect to the blanket under the neck, right, to that kind of release of the cervical spine. And you might even pick up the hips and kind of send the tailbone long so you're having the spine nice and long. Okay, so taking deeper breaths. Maybe bringing some movement back into the body. And removing anything that you have on the head, the eyes. Making a rub of the palms together and place that right on the heart space. So hands to the heart. And then we can let the feet come to the bolster. I should have said a while ago that you're welcome to stay as long as you want there, right? But if you're ready to continue on with me, we'll get moving. Let's go ahead and roll over onto a side and just kind of make space for yourself. So pushing the props out of the way. And then we can use the hand and press up. Excuse me. I'm having allergies, so struggling a little bit. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and close. We'll close, we'll bow the head down towards the heart. Excuse me. Oh. And let's end with our wish, right? Loka, samasta, sukhi no, bhavantu. May all beings everywhere know love and peace. Om Shanti, Om Peace. Namaste. Excuse me. I hope that this practice, that you enjoy this change of pace, and that this is a tool that you can have in your toolbox for any time that you might have experiencing headaches from stress. So from my heart to yours, I hope that you enjoy. Namaste.